Hello and welcome. This is the Kingdom Sparkle Podcast, your guiding beacon in the world of faith-forward business. I am your host, Angeline Moore, founder of the Kingdom Sparkle Agency, where we empower businesses to shine bright. Whether you're just starting your journey or you're an established leader looking for fresh insights, you're in the right place. Together, we'll explore the concepts and strategies that will help you activate, align, and amplify your Kingdom Sparkle. So sit back, relax, and let's begin to let our inner sparkle shine. To the Kingdom Sparkle Park. All right. Well, that's going to get
No, you don't need to cut that.
everyone.
You don't need to cut that. You need to go. You need to go with that.
We're just gonna keep rolling. We're gonna keep rolling. Welcome back to the Kingdom Sparkle Podcast, where we ignite the sparkle within your faith-forward business journey. I'm your host, Angeline Moore. Today is the very first time we're on Riverside.fm and my very first podcast guest, the amazing Trevor Houston. Hey.
Oh, let's go. Episode 1. Let's go.
I am so thrilled that you said yes to be on here. So this is the first time Trevor said yes to me, actually. I met him really on Clubhouse about 2 years ago. He did this really cool challenge on there where he was like, what does it mean to be a champion? So I shot my shot. How do you say it? I gave my shot in, right? And I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I raised my hand. I was so nervous and I didn't win. But I did get a cool consolation prize of a Breakfast with Champions shirt, which I actually love and I wear a lot. And then fast forward to this year in April, I met Trevor at the Dallas conference, BWC Live. And we did a follow-up summit, a virtual Soar and Sparkle summit with Stars Tina. And he said yes to be a guest on there. So thank you for saying yes, Trevor.
Well, thank you for showing up, right? Like you showed
Yeah.
up 2 years ago, and I try to tell people all the time. I'm sure when you did that competition when we were on Clubhouse, I'm sure that was probably terrifying.
Oh my
And
gosh, it was so scary. I didn't even know what I would say. That was pre-Chat GPT too.
well, and I just put people on the spot. Like there was
Yeah,
like, it was just totally on the spot. And
it was.
I think about it as I'm doing that and hosting that for people. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I don't know if I would do this.
It
That
was
would be
so
scary.
crazy.
I bet
It
it would
was
be
fun
super scary.
though. It was fun. You brought a different mix when you come into the Clubhouse spots. I love it. I love it. Your energy. And it was super cool. I enjoyed it so much. Even though I was like, I don't know what the heck am I gonna do?
Well, I had to bring some different energy into Clubhouse, which I'm pretty proud of because it seemed like people are real good at talking these days. And I just heard a lot of the same things
Yeah.
over and over and over, and I got burnt out on some of the stuff people were saying. You can only hear "get out of your comfort zone" so many times and overcome your fears and all these types of things that people say that it's
Right.
totally true. They're all mic drop moments, but it was like, man, I just got burnt out of hearing people talk, really, to be honest with you. And I
Do
was like,
something different.
and I'm like, I gotta bring a different energy in here. So I'm like, okay, how can we make this fun and
Yeah.
engaging and make actual like games and stuff? And so I got a roadcaster and got the sound effects, and like literally we started doing game shows,
It was so cool.
and they turned out to be a pretty big hit. People liked them. We actually had the very first newlywed show on Clubhouse.
I
Yeah,
was so crazy. That was fun.
it
We've
was
had some
fun.
really good times. And now, right, Clubhouse was it 2 years ago, the biggest hype. And now the new things is Threads, Meta
Thread.
Threads. I've been obsessed with this. I'm waiting for it to drop the audio space, but it'll be fun. I'm
I
excited for it.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. Well, I told you what happened last night. So it dropped last night, and you know what? It's so funny
Sorry,
even
tell
knowing
me.
anything about it. I was just
Yeah.
scrolling and I saw a post from Glenn Lundy, actually.
Yeah, I got
I
a
gotta thank
text.
I have to thank Glenn again. So Glenn got me on Clubhouse.
Yep.
Glenn got me on Thread. So I saw a post And I'm like, "What is this?" And I clicked on it, and it said Threads by Meta. I'm like, "What is this?" And everything. I'm like, "Okay, so there's a new thing that just came out." So next thing you know, I get Threads, and I'm, like, addicted already. I'm like, you're, like, in there, like, crack cocaine,
Scrolling.
And then I was like, I gotta go to bed. I gotta go to bed." And I was staying up, and then I went to bed, and literally I had a dream about it. That's how addicting this stuff is. I had a dream that I was testing it, and I was testing to see I was pushing the boundaries to see what was
What could
gonna
you get
be.
away with?
Yeah, like the user agreement, like what is, like, gonna get you banned and shut down and, that
Right,
kind of. And
right,
so
that
I
shadow
post
ban that they always
Yeah.
scary.
And so I posted something that was, like, in my dream, this was something that was, like, inappropriate, and, like, I know, I did. Hey, I'm dreaming, I can't control my dreams, okay? So I post something totally inappropriate, and it goes viral, it
Yeah, of
explodes,
course it does, that's the what happened.
and everybody's, like, trolling and hating and just throwing stones at me, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh," and I'm trying to shut it down in my dream, and so I woke up from this was kinda like a nightmare or whatever, and I woke up.
Yeah.
So what did I do? Got back on the stupid thing.
In the morning. Gotta make sure my thread's good. I keep saying, "Are you in the loop?" I don't know. That's we're gonna thread that.
Oh, I got you. Are you in the loop?
In the loop, join the loop. But alright, Trevor. So you
Yes.
are accomplished career strategist, right? You're
Yeah.
the host of the Who You Know show,
Let's
which
go.
I saw was voted top career podcast by Max List in 2023, by the way. So congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
so cool.
Thank you.
Plus, you have this innovative job search, the Trojan horse strategy. Yeah. That's
That's
earned
right.
you some recognitions, numerous
Mm.
publications, right? You were on CBS 11, Fox News, and Forbes. Wow, wow, wow. I love it. So, outside of your work with that, you're also financial professional offering insurance and financial products with clear path wealth strategies. So, you're doing that. I love it. I love it. With everything, your background in both career and strategy and financial services, my podcast is the Kingdom Sparkle podcast. So I blend my faith forward take with business. With everything that you're doing, I would love for you to start by sharing how faith has influenced your professional journey.
That's such a great question. Thank you for asking too. So literally this whole journey got started with faith, right? So I'll tell you the story real quick. So I was getting into financial services and started my career, and it was kind of rough when you start a new career and it's not really going well, and I was kind of struggling and having a little bit of a hard time meeting people and getting clients and stuff like that. And I'm doing old school networking, and I meet with this guy for coffee. We sit down, and he's asking me what I do, and I'm asking him what he does and stuff like that. And we're just doing an old school coffee networking. And I told him, what I do. I was like, yeah, I do financial services. So I do like retirement investments and 401k rollovers and things like that. He's like, oh, really? You do rollovers? I said, yeah. He goes, well, there's this group of job seekers that meets at South Lake. And it's a big group of people that are out of work, and they probably could use your services over there. And I said, actually, yeah, that's perfect. When you're in a career transition, that 401k is actually has some options for the first time. It's got some available options. And anyway,
Right,
like, yeah, that
right.
totally makes sense. And so he's like, you need to go over there and talk to these job seekers. And then literally that meeting was crazy because he prayed over me. I don't know, like, maybe, like, he
Wow.
thought like, maybe he saw that I was in a tough spot and I was really struggling. I really, really
Mhm.
was. I don't know if he could see it. He probably could, and he was trying to help me. Anyways, he prayed over me, and when I say prayed over me, this was a super powerful a prayer that may scare some people, actually. Like, he
Mhm.
was breathing in real hard and speaking in tongues and put his hands
Wow.
on me and was having me breathe with him, and I was totally in it. I was like, "Let's do this." You know what I
That's
mean?
so
Like, let's
cool.
go.
This is one of those prophecy prayers, right?
It was
Oof.
insane. Who does that with a complete stranger? It was so powerful. I can't even explain it. So powerful. But I'm taking it in because I needed it. And I'm like, "Yeah." And what's crazy is I have a business partner. His name's Mark Elder. And I told him about this group. I was like, "Hey, we need to go to this group in South Lake." And they met on Thursday mornings. And for whatever reason, I wasn't able to go that Thursday morning. I can't remember
Yeah.
what it was, but I wasn't able to go.
You're
And I
probably on
told
threads
Mark,
now.
Mark was like, Mark's the nicest guy. He's just, "Well, I'll go, I'll check it out." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So
Mark
he
is a
goes.
nice guy. He's awesome.
Oh, he's the nicest guy. He really is. He is the nicest guy. And he's like, "Well, I'll go." And I think about it now, but I sent someone else on my assignment,
Mm.
right? I didn't even think about that till years later. Years and years later, but I sent someone else on the assignment that I was given.
Mhm.
And so there's no mistake about it. Like, he got kicked out.
Stop it.
I'm serious.
Oh my gosh.
They didn't allow him in. Like, they kicked him out.
You're not
And
on the list.
Mark is the nicest guy in the world. Like, it
Yeah.
wasn't that he was doing anything wrong. It was just like, oh, they basically, because he went in there to talk about 401k rollovers and stuff like that, and they just weren't
Yeah.
having that. They're like, "No, that's not what we're doing here." Out.
Mhm. Oh,
And,
no. Poor
yeah,
Mark.
yeah. I know, poor Mark. And, so then a little bit later on, they did tell us there was a group in Frisco, which is actually where our office is. So this was way more convenient, actually.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make sure, I'm like, so I called in advance. I was like, "Hey, I just wanna make sure that if we come down there, like, we're not gonna get kicked out or anything. I wanna come just check you guys out, see what's going on. We've never been. I was told it was a good group to come check out, so I just wanna come see what's happening." And they were like, "Yeah, come on down and just be a fly on the wall. Don't be pitching your services or anything like that." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Let's just check it out."
Yeah.
And we did. And so when we walked in, we saw these job seekers really hurting, and they were going through a very, very emotional time, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. They're running out of money. They got all kinds of issues going on. And I knew we were needed there, but we had to be really careful about the approach. You can't just go in there like Mark did and just going in there trying to,
Ready to sell?
yeah, yeah, yeah. You just can't do that. It's just, these are like kind of vulnerable. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
going through a hard time.
Yeah.
So and so I was like, let me just be a fly on the wall and see what's going on here. And we started a network and just asked questions, a lot of questions. By
Right.
the way, you asked about the faith. This group meets at a church.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I'm telling you, all of this had to do with faith. I was given an assignment and
Mm.
sent out. And you know what was interesting is I saw myself in these job seekers. I identified.
Really?
Mhm. Because again, my first year was really rough. I was struggling. I was watching my bank account go backwards. I was
Mm.
watching my money go negative, right? I was
Mhm.
watching this stuff. I was worried about losing my home and things like that. I was stressed out and all the same stuff. I saw myself in them, and I was learning how to network and give my elevator pitch and do all these things, and so were they, right? So we were
Wow.
like in the same shoes, except I had professional training,
Mm.
okay? I was being professionally trained, and so I was 2 steps ahead of them.
Right.
And that's all you need to be is 2 steps ahead. In order to teach someone, you need to be 2 steps ahead. Okay, you don't have to be light years ahead of somebody to teach. You don't have to be an expert to teach. Everybody say, "Oh, you gotta be an expert." No, you don't. You need to be 2 steps ahead of somebody.
Mhm.
You can say, "Hey, listen, you need to take a left. Take a left at the right at the light, okay? Because I've been here before, right?"
Right.
But and that's what it was. I was being professionally trained, and I was able to help them network, to help them to connect, to learn strategies on how to get their information out of the black hole and all these types of things. And but it all started with the old school coffee meeting where the guy just
Wow.
Pray
I love it, and the prayer,
the
right?
prayer, yeah,
Such a
yeah.
pow I think that's my favorite part of the story is the prayer over it and over you. Wow, and the fact you're like, "This is my assignment," but then you tried to hand it off and it didn't quite work out the
Mm-mm.
way that it should have because it wasn't Mark's plan, it was for you.
I
So that's
know.
crazy. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for sharing that. That is so, so cool. I love that. Could you share so I wanna talk about faith and finances. I know that sometimes it can be I don't know if it's taboo or not talked about when you mix the 2, right?
2 topics on top of each other.
Right?
First of all, there's 3 topics in life that people don't talk about. They're sensitive.
Yeah.
Okay, so religion, politics, and money. Okay,
Yep.
and you
And
just stack
here
2 on top.
stack
Let's
them
throw
all
politics in.
together.
Hey, you wanna talk about who's gonna be president and all that too? Let's throw the politics in. I'm just
Well, we
saying,
can thread about that later. We'll get everybody in the loop of that conversation, right? So, when
that's
we
right.
talk about faith and finances, right? How do you have a personal story about how your faith influenced a significant, like, financial decision in your life or career?
Wow, what a great question. How my faith influences my financial decisions?
Yeah, or just a story that influenced part of it, because 'cause I'm sure it influenced a lot of everything, yeah?
Yeah, yeah, that's such a great question. I don't know if I've ever really thought about that before, but I can tell you that I grew up extremely poor. I grew up in poverty.
Yeah.
And so I got to see both sides of the tracks, I guess, if you will. Okay.
Yes.
I got to see extreme poverty and crime and jail and all of these things. I got to see that life, got to touch and feel it, and I got burnt and was given a second chance at my life through my heavenly Father,
Mm,
right? My heavenly Father showed grace and mercy on me when I didn't deserve it. And so when I got my second chance, my opportunity, it was like, man, I got to run with this opportunity and I can't squander it. And I started making money pretty early in my early 20s when I was in the auto industry. And I made quite a bit of money early. At 23, 24, I was making 150K a year.
just good for a young man, hey.
Yeah, absolutely. I was making more money than anybody I knew. I
Mm,
bought my first house at 24. And anyways, and so money was good. And I knew that I had to be a good steward of it, that
mm,
I couldn't squander like, what I was being blessed with, and to be
right,
honest with you, I my father taught me how to work hard, earn money, and save money.
right.
He was really good at saving and just kinda being frugal and living below your means, which is super important to the equation, okay? 'Cause a
Mhm,
lot of people, they live above their means, okay?
right.
I learned real quickly how to live below my means because, shoot, I didn't never have any money to begin with when growing up. So
That's interesting when you say that is that a lot of people that grow up like that I grew up with that too, right? And I grew up in poverty but a lot of people when they get money, they don't get that mentor like your father did for
mm,
you to teach you differently because they're like, "Oh, no, I have money, I can just" and then they spend it so fast, right?
yeah.
So, it's so
That
good that you had that.
it's kinda weird, I always had that. I remember even growing up, somebody, I think it was my grandma, she got me like a have you ever seen those money trees?
Yeah.
It's like a little
It's
tree,
like a
little tree.
bonsai tree or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
got little dollar bills, like, tied onto it, and they call it a money tree, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a money tree for Christmas one year, and it had, I don't know how much money, 30, 40, $50 on it or something like that, and I was
Right.
a kid, but I would save, and I remember I had this little coin thing, and I would save, so even though I was poor growing up, if I got money, I'd save it,
Mm.
and it's just I don't know where that comes from, to be honest with you,
Mhm.
but it just was always in me, and
Right.
so, again, with my father, I'm starting to make money at an early age. and I knew I had an opportunity here to break the cycle, and I needed to be a good steward of it, and I was blessed with this opportunity to be able to do this, and I sought out guidance from a financial professional and decided to get some advice because I didn't know how to multiply money,
Mm.
okay?
Mhm.
And there's that whole, the parable.
Of the talents
Yeah,
where
the
they
parable of the
multiply it.
talents.
Mhm.
Yeah, where they talk about the master leaves and leaves him some money and gives it to three of the, servants. It says, "Hey, I want you to multiply this money." And first one does a good job, second one does an okay job, third one doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Bury
I
buries
was
the money.
scared.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And buries the money, and the master comes back and he's like, "Bro,
What are you doing?
what did you do?"
Yeah.
And yeah, it's interesting because it's all in the Bible. It's people always talk about, "Oh, money's the root of all evil."
You
No,
say that.
no, money's not the root of all evil, right? It's the abuse of money that's the root
Mhm.
of all evil, right? Money's just a tool. It can be
Yeah.
used for good, right? It can be used for a lot of good if you use it correctly, right? I think money just amplifies who you are.
Yes.
Okay, so if you're a jerk and you got money, you're gonna be a really big jerk,
Yeah.
right? If you're a good person and you got money, you're gonna be a really good person. If you're generous and you got money, you're gonna be really generous. So,
I agree. And I it's one of those things that you grow up with that society teaches you and all the people around you teach you. Like, even when you're trying to make it big and they're looking at you and you're like, all you care about is money and you're and all this everything else. But what I think is interesting, I just found this out actually, but that money and possessions are mentioned over 2,000 times in the Bible.
mm,
I didn't know that. And I was like, what? That's crazy. And that is more than prayer and faith. So the
mhm,
fact that they talk about money, that God in his word speaks volumes about the significance of financial stewardship, right, in our lives and how that really is so impactful.
yeah,
Um,
because think about it, like, if money's the root of all evil, then you've gotta be a good steward of it. Because it's not like all of a sudden we can just live without money. You can't live without money. You gotta have money. Nothing the world doesn't go spin around without it. So, that means you need
yeah,
to
be better at
understand it,
it.
or I say it like this, listen, everything can be outsourced, okay?
Mhm.
So, you may be a person that's like, "I don't really enjoy that. I don't like researching specific assets and investments and doing I don't that's not I don't like it." There's a lot of people like that. That's cool. No worries. You don't enjoy it. Outsource it,
Yep,
okay?
yep.
Hire somebody. If you're like, "Man, I just don't have the time." I'm like, "Man, I'm so busy. I don't have the time." Okay, cool. Outsource it, right? Maybe you do understand it, right? You totally get it. But again, if you don't have the time or you don't enjoy it, you're not gonna do it right. It's kinda like I tell people all the time, it's like my lawn. I don't mow my own lawn, and there's a reason for that
Right.
because I don't enjoy it, right? I could find the time for it, but trust me, if it was left up to me, it's hot. I'm in Texas.
You live in Texas.
It's hot. Like, I'm gonna have some high grass, okay?
Yeah. They like just
Like,
live in the
it's gonna
jungle.
be
It's fine. It's
look,
fine.
I remember having to mow my grass at my mom's, okay? So we didn't have a lawnmower,
Mhm.
okay? We didn't have a lawnmower, and that grass would get 3, 4 feet high, like, it would get high, okay? Super high, to the point where the city would write a ticket or a notice or whatever, like, "We're gonna fine you," and stuff like that.
Okay.
It was the city,
Right, the city's
right?
like, "Nope."
So they let the that's like I said, they let the grass get pretty high before the city would get involved, but they would, and
Wow.
so the grass would be so high, and that's once we got the notice, that's when it was like, "Okay, we gotta do something," so we borrow somebody's mower, and do you know what you gotta do with a push mower to mow grass that's 2, 3 feet tall? You have to, like you have to put the mower at you have to push down on it so it's not
Yeah.
going straight, it's going up
Angled.
at an angle. and then it would get all of that grass would get in anyways, it was tough.
Wow.
I hate mowing the lawn, okay? So listen.
Okay, well, see, this is where we're very relatable too, because when I first got my own place after my divorce, I was like, I have to do my own yard now. Heck am I to do? And I'm like the single mom. I literally let my backyard grow so tall. And my 2 boys were little, and they thought it was amazing because I'd like run around in a path. And then finally I was like, all right, I got to do this. But I didn't have a lawnmower. So what I did, I think I borrowed my mom's weed eater. So you had the
Mm,
push mower. It wasn't a very big yard, but
yup.
going back and forth, weeding grass that was like way above. It was crazy. So, yeah, I don't like nothing on work either.
You
Outsourcing. You have to outsource when you don't like it.
Yeah,
So you either
okay, that's
outsource
yeah.
somebody or you find somebody that likes it.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah, same thing. You gotta get somebody to take
Yep.
care of it. And that's what I try to tell people so much. Do you know, like, Americans don't get help with their finances. They just don't. Not a lot. Not a lot of Americans get help, and they don't get help at work, and the majority of them don't understand it, okay? And that's okay. But the problem is the pride thing, okay? Nobody wants to
Mm.
raise their
I was gonna
hand.
ask you, what do you think it is that we don't wanna ask for help?
Pride. Nobody wants to raise their hand and say, "I
Mm.
don't understand money." Are you kidding me? Nobody wants to do that. "Hey, I don't get it." Nobody does that. It's pride. Everyone's, "Oh, I'm all set.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm not. I got" 'cause they checked a box at work that's called the 401k, and they think they're set.
Yes.
And it's, "Hey, do you even know
Well,
what
they don't
you're"
teach it. Even at school, they don't teach you how to do any of that.
Yeah, no, they don't. And then they go and then it's, "Okay, do you know" I always catch people. I'm like, "Oh, okay, you're all set. Okay, cool. So you got that. Okay, that's cool, cool. Okay, what investments are you in?"
Mm.
Crickets. Like, most people don't even know what type of investments are inside their 401k. They don't know. They just know they check the box. "Oh, I'm aggressive." That's what they'll say. "Oh, I'm aggressive. I'm in a really I'm in a moderate portfolio." Okay, great. What does that mean?
'Cause that's what the portfolio words at the bottom say. That's what I would've said to you. I'm like, "Yeah, it's moderate
Yeah,
investment."
it's moderate. Okay, but what's it? What does that mean, moderate?
No one
Oh,
knows.
oh, it's the box. Okay, cool. All right, cool. So it sounds like we need to look underneath the hood. That's like, hey, you're driving a car, but you don't know what kind of engine it has, and you don't know when you need an oil change. Because guess what? Different cars have different
Yep,
engines, and you need different oil changes at different intervals. So you don't even know. You don't know what you're invested in,
right.
right? And so, but people don't want to admit it. People don't wanna just say, "Hey, listen, I don't understand this stuff," and I think it's a pride thing, and yeah, that's it. Pride comes before the fall.
Yes. It's true. It's so true. So, I feel like that's where I feel that it's important to blend your faith and finances together, right? So, for you, right,
Mhm,
as a financial professional,
mhm.
can you shed some light on how faith can shape our financial decisions then?
That's another great question. Obviously, they talk about the tithing, which I cannot say to be in all transparency, I can't just sit up here and lie. Tithe, but I'm not gonna sit here and say that I do it all the time or 10% of my income or all of that stuff. My
Same,
tithing
same.
My
Right,
tithing has always been a little bit different. Like, I'll give you an example.
right.
If I see someone homeless on the street and I have cash in my pocket, they get it all, whatever it is. If I got
Mhm.
$500 in my pocket, they get it. If I got $5, $10, a dollar, whatever it is, like, they get it all. And I've just always done that because I feel like that. Well, first of all, I'm not always carrying cash anyways. But
Right.
when I
I would
have
say,
it,
wow, you carry that much cash in your pocket?
if I got cash like that, they get it. They get whatever is there.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I love
I
that.
don't
I
know. I
love
just
that.
feel and I'm not worried about what they're gonna do with it or what have you and this, that, and the other.
Right.
I'm not worried about that. And I do tithe at church as well. But I used to do something. I remember my church had these CDs. and the worship
Mhm.
music, and I would just stock up on those, and I looked at that as a form of tithing. I would stock up and I'd buy tons of these worship CDs and I'd just give them to people. I'm like, "Hey," I
Oh, I love that.
because to me,
Yes.
that was big for me was worship music, and I knew the impact that it
Yes. Same.
had on me. So I do my tithing a
Mhm.
little bit different, but I think that's important. That's important. Yeah, so as far as actual, like, investing in things goes like that, uh,
Mm.
I think just I don't know. So it's a good question. I don't know if anybody's really ever asked me that as far as, like, how faith and investments go hand in hand, but yeah, there you go.
No, it's a good question. I still ask that of myself too, right? And honestly, I when I think about it, I feel like I have to remember that it's not mine. It's
Mm,
always his anyways.
it's true.
So then to keep it that in the forefront of knowing when to invest and when not to, and that discernment. It's hard sometimes though, right? Because like, is it a good thing or is it a God thing? There's that battle.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So,
Yeah, they say also to not invest in things that you don't really understand, right? And
yes,
I think that, again, that goes back to outsourcing as well. So, you know, if you got help,
finding that expert.
right? Yeah, get the expert, but trust it all that's a hard one too. I was working with a lady just here recently and she got burnt. I get it why people also there's a trust factor, right? She got burnt working with somebody and didn't get that great a result. And I was like, man, and they were talking down to her and stuff like that and just not treating her right. And I
Oh
was
man.
like, wow, I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Anyways, so you hear those stories every once in a while and it puts people on edge. But
Yeah.
what I think is you got a couple of bad apples out there, the Bernie Madoffs and the Wolves of Wall Streets, these people who
Right.
do some bad things and it gives the industry kind of a black eye, right? And so that's
Mm.
why I try to be, for me, I try to be as transparent, just like the most real person you're going to get. I used to suit
Yeah.
and tie it up. I don't suit and tie nothing anymore. I'm like, look, this is who I am.
Well, it depends on who you're meeting with, right?
Yeah, but even then, I don't wanna do business with somebody, and I know this like, Grant Cardone heard me talking about this, he'd probably smack me, okay? But I'm like, I don't swear he would. I'm listening to some of his tapes right now, and I'm like, he'd smack but no, I don't wanna do business with somebody who doesn't see my value, okay? Now, I've gotta
Mm.
obviously, you gotta prove it to him and all of that, but dress for success, la, 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 but no. No, I want them to already just see my character and see who I am. And if they don't already have a sense of that, if I can't prove that to them real quickly, and it's
Right.
challenging and I have to put on a front and let me tell you
Mhm.
why I say this. I say this because when I first got into business, I thought I had to do that. I had
Mm.
I would suit and tie it up. Also, I thought that I had to make myself look smarter. I would wear fake glasses.
Right.
I wore fake glasses, okay, and I would talk not me, not like me, okay, I would not talk like me. I was fronting, okay, and it didn't get me nowhere, okay? It didn't get me nowhere. I just gotta be me. I gotta be so and I tell people all the time, I'm like, "I'm not your typical suit and tie Wall Street guy. That's not me, okay? If you're looking for your typical suit and tie Wall Street guy, you can go somewhere else, 'cause that is not me."
There's someone
One
else
thing
out there.
Yeah, yep, there's plenty of them. There's plenty of them. I said, here's what I can promise you, I'm not gonna talk over you. I'm not gonna use a bunch of big jargon and lingo, okay? I'm gonna translate things so it's
Mhm.
easily understandable. I'm gonna break things down, complex issues to easily, like, bite-sized little chunks for you so that you can understand it and move forward so you can get
Yeah.
results. And I don't believe in wasting people's time. I want to create the Amazon experience for financial services. This doesn't have to take all kinds of time.
I
And
love that.
so I just want to make it simple for people. It doesn't have to be this, again, suit and tie Wall Street guy who's talking big and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't have
Right.
to be that way. So I'm changing things up a little bit and
I
it's working
love
well
it.
for me. I think people appreciate that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think so too, because it's letting them get to know you, right? And
Mhm.
like your podcast, it's who you know. I love
Right.
it. I love it. Talk about the podcast for me.
Yeah.
How did that all come about?
Yep. So the podcast is my baby. I love it. And I made every mistake in the world with the podcast, which is also a blessing, right? It's also a blessing
Yeah,
because I got to learn some hard lessons with it. But we've been doing it now for almost 6 years. And
I love that.
really,
Podcast gold.
yeah, we've really recorded probably somewhere close to 600 episodes, but
Wow.
I made some mistakes again. I lost half the content from about 2.5 years worth of content I lost
Oh, that
during
hurts.
through the pandemic, and, well, it does
Yeah.
hurt. I didn't have control over the distribution side of it. We paid a studio,
Mhm.
pandemic shut them down, and then the guy moved out of
Oof.
town and da 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 da, and I never got the content, and so, technically, I could still get it. It'd be really, really, really difficult. It would be because 'cause there are live streams on Facebook. So I'd have to somehow,
Mm,
when your memories come up, somehow I could download
yeah.
the data
Then you
off of
see him.
Facebook. I don't know how. It would take forever probably, but
It does take a long time. You have to wait.
yeah, until the memory pops up or something.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I don't know how to get it. I'm sure there's a way that I could probably get in there, but yeah, so I've made a lot of mistakes, but now what's next is I'm real excited because I want to create a podcast agency because, like, I have a real passion for it. And I love when people are doing what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
I do. I love it. Everywhere I go, I'm not kidding you. Everywhere I go, I'm like, "Oh, this would make a great podcast. Oh, this would be good at a podcast." I'm like, "Oh, this would be our podcast."
I love it.
I do. I'm just like, "This is the greatest things." I wanna help other people share their stories, and I know what this
I love that.
podcasting thing has done for me, and so I wanna help other people
Mhm.
to be able to do the same thing, specifically in the financial services world and realm because
Yeah.
it's harder, it's more challenging, there's compliance and there's red tape. And so I have figured out how to get around the red
Mm,
tape. Okay. And other people literally just don't. They don't do anything. And so they never
right.
get out in front of the camera because they think they can't. And so I want to help people in my industry.
Mm,
Yeah, they think they can't even do it. It's not a
I
matter of
love that.
not
Wow.
not a matter of should I do it? It's a matter of, oh, I don't think I can. So, I wanna help them understand that they can, and they should, and, anyway, so that's next for me is I wanna create
Yes,
a podcast.
I'm excited. Listen, you've already had somebody. I'm glad I know Trevor Houston because we're gonna be talking about your podcast agency. I love it.
Yeah.
So good. And I love the name of your show, Who You Know Show, right? Because it is an I say that all the time. It's crazy when you go and you meet and me and my mom were just talking about it. It's like it really is who you know and how you get into the right rooms and the proximity is powerful on how you can move forward and
Mhm.
just get to the next level sometimes. So I love it. I'm so
Yeah,
excited. Thank you for sharing
absolutely.
that.
So, there are people in your life, if you think about who has helped you to level up, right? And your life is in
Mm,
stages, there's stages, and there's always the people. Like, when I tell my story, there's a few people. There was the judge who had leniency on me, okay? I should have been locked up.
mhm.
I was a teenager for a long time, okay? The judge. That's a who, okay? Made a big impact on my life because he gave me a second chance, okay? There was my father who helped coach and mentor me. When I got in the auto industry, there was my sales director who drilled into me like a drill sergeant. He was up my butt, okay? and he created a monster.
As it needed to be, right?
I needed it. Well, he did that with everybody, but I needed it, okay, because I still had some
Mm,
looseness I was shaking off, okay, and so he put his foot up my butt, and I needed that discipline, and I created a monster. I was the top producer there every year, and then
wow.
when I got into financial services, it was actually my financial advisor who got me here. He was the one that started recruiting me. It was like, "Yo, you would be really good over here. You should do this." And then
Wow.
when I got over here, he hired me and trained me and all that kinda stuff, and so there's always these people along the way when you
Mhm.
think about your story, and I don't know if it's like that for you, but if you really sat down, if you were writing a book about your life, there's usually some people in there if you start connecting the dots, and these people help you to level up. It's all about who you know. And so can you network? Can you
Yes.
connect? Can you be intentional about that process? Don't just let it happen to you. Can you be intentional about putting yourself in the right rooms to get around the right people
Right.
so that they can exponentially help you to level up? And so that's what our show's about. And
Oh,
yeah, it's awesome.
I love it. So good. If you guys have not subscribed to the Huguenot Show yet, you need to find Trevor Houston and subscribe because it's an amazing podcast. I'm so excited. I love that you dropped about writing a book. I heard that you are actually writing a book. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah.
Are you wanting to share a little?
Yeah. So I am writing a book. Well, it's a working title at the moment. We'll see where it ends up, but it's called Breaking Free, Transform from Poverty to Prosperity. Okay. And
Oh, so good.
yeah, so breaking free, I wanna help people to transform their life. And so it's basically my story, how I grew up, the journey that I was on, the path I was on was going this way. Okay. I was on,
Right.
listen, again, I probably should have been in prison or something. I don't know. Most of the people that were around me didn't make it out. Okay. And
Mm,
so I'm lucky to be here and I'm grateful to be here. And I'm grateful that I actually didn't have any long term because it was on my juvenile record and stuff like that. So I talk all about what
yeah.
happened, what went wrong, what did I have to do with it, what's my accountability on this thing? Because
Right.
I was a kid, but I still have to be accountable for what I did. You know what I'm saying? And essentially, I got in a fight.
Right.
Right? I got in a fight, but I was a bad little sucker when I was a teenager, and I got in a lot of trouble. And
You no, I couldn't see it. No,
I was
not
a
sweet
wild,
Trevor.
it was so wild. And so yeah, and like it's the journey and the story, but what turned that ship around? Like, how did I turn that ship
Mhm.
around, and what were the steps? And so that's what I talk about in this book. And I think the steps are and this is where I go with when I say working title. I don't know if I wanna say
Mhm.
from poverty to prosperity because I don't want people thinking that I didn't grow up in poverty, so this book is
Mm,
about taking you from being poor to making something out of yourself. No, it's
right.
not even about that. I think this is relevant to people no matter where they are. If you're in a place that
Right.
you don't like, this book can help you. If you don't like your life for any reason, if you feel stuck,
Yeah.
this book can help you to transform and get unstuck. So maybe that's what I needed. I just needed to rename it Unstuck or something like that.
Unstuck.
Get unstuck.
Ah,
Get
I
your
love it.
brain
I'm so
unstuck.
excited for when it gets published.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. I'm excited
Love
about it.
it, love it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Trevor, thank you so much for joining me today on the Kingdom Sparkle podcast. I just love every time I talk to you. You always have some great insights, and I'm so excited. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the audience before I hit stop
Yeah,
on
y'all
our
need
recording?
to subscribe to the Kingdom Sparkle podcast. Okay. Y'all need to subscribe and leave her a 5-star review. Okay. None of this 4 stars or anything like that. I had a guy one time, I asked him, I'm like, yo, give me a 5-star review, blah, 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 blah. And he gave me like a 4 star. And I was like, dude, why'd you do that, man? I was like, what? Why'd you do that? And he's like, "Well, nothing's
Right.
perfect. Everything can use, improvement. So I don't ever," he's like, "I don't ever
Uh,
give a perfect rating on anything." I'm like, "Dude, I only asked you to help me, dude. You hurt me. That 4-star hurt me." So guys, 5-star reviews and 5 stars only, because if it's a 4, it's a failing grade. 4 is a fail. 5-star, 5 stars only.
ah.
Hook her up, man. She's out here putting herself out here. You know what I mean? Hook her up. 5-star reviews only, okay?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Trevor. I
You're
just love
welcome.
you. All right. That is it for our episode today. Trevor Houston, y'all. Make sure you follow him on the Who You Know show as well. His podcast is incredible. You can watch his handsome face on YouTube as well. He streams it there. And yeah, if you need a financial advisor and you need that person that's 2 steps ahead to get you where you need to be, Trevor's also your guy. So thank you again, Trevor. Until
Thank
next
you.
time. Bye.
Bye.
That's it for this episode of the Kingdom Sparkle podcast. I hope it's added a little extra sparkle to your day. If you enjoyed our time together, I'd be so grateful if you could leave us a 5-star review and share this podcast with your friends, family, and business associate. It truly makes a difference and helps others find us. We hope you've enjoyed our insights and gained inspiration to take your business to new heights. This podcast is sponsored by the Kingdom Sparkle Agency, KSA. At KSA, we understand the challenges faced by successful business owners and entrepreneurs like you. That's why we provide a powerful solution that will transform the way that you do business. Our comprehensive suite of tools and systems offer everything you need to streamline your operations and simplify it in one place. From landing pages and funnels to social media scheduling, appointments, invoicing, automation, email and text marketing, and lead capturing and nurturing. We got you covered. What sets the Kingdom Sparkle Agency apart is our unique ability to unify all these diverse business systems into a single, efficient platform. Say bye-bye to juggling multiple tools and hello to streamlined operations, significant cost savings, and enhanced efficiency. With KSA, you can focus on what matters most, growing your business and serving your clients. Ready to experience the power of KSA yourself? Schedule a demo today and discover the difference KSA can make in your business by visiting ksa.systems. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss out on our next episode, packed with more insights to illuminate your path. Remember, the world needs your unique light, so keep shining your kingdom sparkle. This is your host, Angeline Moore, saying thank you for listening, and until next time, stay sparkling.